Remember all that hype about the metaverse? It was like we were promised this whole other world, this virtual reality where we could work, play, you name it.
It was the future. Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
But lately, it feels like the metaverse buzz has kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, so much talk about it these days.
So we're doing a deep dive on this, and you guys sent over the VR Lie by Philipp Stelzner. This article is about to really make us rethink the whole metaverse thing.
Definitely makes you think.
Because it's not that virtual reality is bad, not exactly.
Right.
Stelzner's saying we've got the whole thing wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this article, it's like a journey, exploring why this virtual metaverse isn't really working out, and then pointing to augmented reality as the real game changer.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Where do we start?
Well, it's kind of wild how fast the metaverse went from this super exciting, almost utopian idea to something people were like, wait, what?
What has
Seriously. And Stelzner calls it out, lays out these almost funny examples of how the metaverse is totally missing the mark.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you spend months, maybe even years, building this awesome virtual city in Decentraland, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
All the coolest features, amazing experiences. You're so pumped for the grand opening.
Yeah, big day.
And only 38 people show up.
Ouch.
That's it. 38 active daily users is what Stelzner says Decentraland has.
Wow. That's not great.
You probably have more people coming and going from your apartment building.
Sure.
So it'd be easy to just say the metaverse was all hype, but it's more complicated than that.
I mean, there were some red flags. I remember thinking,
Stelzner gets into it. Like the technology itself isn't quite there yet.
yeah, building those massive virtual worlds, that's got to be really hard to do.
And expensive.
Yeah.
Then there's the cost for people like us. Not everyone can just drop hundreds, even thousands of dollars on VR headsets and all that gear.
True. True. It adds up fast.
But for Stelzner, the big thing is that there just aren't that many fun things to do in the metaverse.
I think he has a point. It's kind of like, why bother?
Exactly. And even Mark Zuckerberg seems to be changing his tune. Remember that interview he did with Cleo Abram?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
He starts talking about this future where the digital and physical worlds blend together seamlessly.
Interesting.
And the key to all that. Not virtual reality, but augmented reality.
Hold on. Are you saying augmented reality is about to take over?
Maybe, maybe not. But you're picking up what Stelzner is putting down. Zuckerberg's vision isn't about strapping on a headset and disappearing into a virtual world. It's about using AR to make the real world even better. Imagine walking down the street. Instead of pulling out your phone to look something up, boom, you get that info instantly through AR glasses, directions, restaurant reviews, even historical facts about a building. It's all right there, blended with what you actually see. So we're talking about augmented reality instead of virtual reality now. I mean, I get how AR could be a game changer. It's like that sci-fi dream of having information and experiences right there at your fingertips.
Exactly. It's about enhancing the real world, not replacing it.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
But what does Stelzner see as the real potential of this AR future?
He gets into some really mind-blowing possibilities.
Like what?
One that stood out to me was AR changing education, like completely transforming it.
Okay.
So instead of kids reading about anatomy in a textbook, they could put on AR glasses and dissect a virtual frog right there on their desk.
Whoa. I remember dissecting a frog in school. Let's just say I would much prefer the AR version.
I think a lot of us would. And it's not just about making learning less messy, It's about being able to see complex things, to really visualize them. Imagine students exploring a holographic solar system in their living room, or taking a virtual field trip to the Amazon rainforest. AR could make learning so much more real, so much more engaging, especially for those visual learners out there.
That's incredible. But I don't know, part of me can't help but feel a little uneasy.
How so?
Like, at what point does all this digital stuff become too much? Are we going to be so busy looking at holographic dinosaurs through our AR glasses that we forget to look at the real world around us?
I see what you mean. It's a valid concern. How do we take advantage of AR without letting it take over our lives, right? Because any technology, there's always a downside.
And Stelzner talks about that, doesn't he?
He does. He talks about the potential for distraction, which, let's be real, is already a huge problem with smartphones.
So true.
And then there's the whole privacy issue.
Right. If our AR glasses are always scanning and analyzing everything around us, who has access to that information?
Exactly. And how are they using it? Big questions we need answers to before AR becomes the norm.
Absolutely. We can't just ignore those concerns. It's like with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? But this also makes me think about another point Stelzner makes about how technology affects our relationships. He calls it the friend dilemma, right?
Right, the friend dilemma. It's
Yeah.
like we're more connected than ever, but people are lonelier.
Yeah. How does that work?
Cleo Abram brings up this really interesting statistic in that interview with Zuckerberg. Did you know the percentage of Americans who say they have no close friends has tripled recently?
Triple. Seriously.
It's true. It went from 3% to 12%.
Wow.
And get this, during the same time period, face-to-face interaction among teenagers dropped by something like 70%.
Okay, that's kind of scary. I mean, I know it doesn't necessarily mean it's technology's fault, but you have to wonder.
You do.
So how does this friend dilemma connect to augmented reality?
That's the question, isn't it? If we use AR as much as Stelzner and Zuckerberg seem to think we will, how will that change our relationships? Will it bring us closer together or push us further apart? I don't know.
It's a tough one.
Mm.
It really is. On the one hand, I can see how AR could help us connect with people. Like, imagine sharing experiences remotely, but in a way more intense way, or getting information instantly that helps us understand each other better. But then there's that other side, the possibility of being even more isolated as we go further into these digital worlds.
It's a tough one for sure. And that's what makes Stelzner's point about being mindful so important. We can't just reject technology altogether. We have to be intentional about how we design it, use it, and how we make sure it works for us as humans, including our need to connect with each other.
So are we talking about setting boundaries, like no AR glasses at dinner, or is it something bigger than that?
Boundaries are important. We've all seen those families glued to their screens and not talking to each other. But I think it goes deeper. It's about really paying attention to how we use technology. How does it make us feel? Does it bring us closer to the people we care about, or does it push us away? And then using those answers to change our habits.
It's like anything else in life. Balance is key. But there's one more thing Stelzner brings up that I think is super important. He talks about how important coding is. Even with AI getting more powerful, it seems counterintuitive at first, but then he relates it back to the idea of being creators, not just consumers of technology.
That's a really good point. And Zuckerberg agrees. He talks about how coding teaches you a new way of thinking, a very structured, analytical way of solving problems. He calls it computational thinking. And you know what? That skill set is becoming so important these days, no matter what you do for a living.
So it's not about everyone becoming software engineers. It's more about understanding the basics of how technology works, how to break down problems, and how to think logically. Those are really important skills for living in a world that's driven by AI.
You got it. It's about understanding the tools that are shaping our world. It's about being able to look at information and decide if it's true or not, and to know the limits of AI, to be a part of how technology is made and used.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening. We started talking about the metaverse, and here we are exploring augmented reality, mindful technology use, and the power of learning to code.
It's all connected. The future of technology isn't set in stone. It's being shaped every single day by the choices we make, both on our own and together.
That's something to think about. VR, AR, future of reality, roller coaster with us. What are the big takeaways?
Well, if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Be informed. Don't just grab the newest gadget or believe all the hype. Do your research, get different perspectives, and most importantly, make your own choices about how these tools affect your life and the world around you.
Because these are just tools, right? What really matters is how we use them.
Exactly. We're not just predicting the future, we're building it. And realizing that is so important. It's about understanding the responsibility that comes with all this new tech so we can create a future that works for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive, but it does feel like this is just the beginning, right?
Absolutely. This conversation needs to continue.
It does. And not just between us, but everyone.
Exactly. It's not about experts telling everyone what to think. It's about people listening, thinking for themselves, asking questions, and then deciding how they want to use tech in their own lives.
So, to everyone listening, as you learn more about all of this, remember, be curious, read, listen to different opinions, and never be afraid to ask those big what-if questions.
Yeah.
Because we're shaping the future right now, and your voice, your choices, they all matter.